I just tried out Elephage for PvP, and it actually is very good. But where does it rank compared to the other pivot Loomians in the game? Well, that's what this video is for. This is going to be a video on the top 5 best pivot Loomians. And this will require moves that can pivot out. It could be attacking, or it could be support. So, yeah, let's get onto this top 5. So, on number 5 of this list is actually going to be interesting because it is going to be Zhonglong. And the reason why Zhonglong is on this list is because of one move in particular. It's a fast Loomian, and it has Ancient Roar. Ancient Roar is extremely good. Probably really underrated in my opinion. It's so good to pivot out. And the thing is with Zhonglong, this makes it the best lead in the game currently because you can pivot out, weaken the Loomian, and then go into something that counters it, which is just amazing. I love Ancient Roar on Zhonglong. But the only reason why it is only number 5 is because, yeah, even though it's good, the thing is that there are other Loomians that can pivot better. It's mainly just there to weaken the Loomian. That's basically it. It is good, and it works very well for Zhonglong, but it's nothing else Zhonglong can really do. It's mainly a good revenge killer, and that's basically what Zhonglong is. A good revenge killer. So, if that's out of the way, that is Zhonglong at the number 5 slot. I mean, look what it does. It's really good. It's very good against this Venolin, too. Which is just perfect. So, that's number 5. Let's get on to number 4. And on number 4 on this list is actually going to be Cavenish. And yes, we have a pre-evolution on the list. Because this thing is so bulky, and it's the best support Loomian in the game. I mean, Slapdown, and with Drop of Youth, makes this thing so bulky. It's amazing how bulky Cavenish is. And it has Slapdown utility, Photosynthesis, Sap Plant, and even better, it has Baffle. It can baffle out of a bad situation when it needs to, which is just amazing. Here's it baffling out of a Whipple Drift that's setting up. Well, after it uses Slapdown, it will baffle out, which is amazing because it's actually setting up its speed, so it will get back to -0, which is awesome. Cavenish is probably the most underrated Loomian, but it's also only number 4 because Baffle is the only pivot move it has. Although it is very good with everything else it has, and that's why Cavenish is in the number 4 slot. So yeah. And to the number 3 slot is gonna be Copper. It's gonna be Elephage. And yes, I was thinking about putting Elephage at number 5 before making this list. I think Zhonglong and Cavenish are better pivot users. But this is the only Loomian that has 2 pivot attacking moves. It has Zip Zap in Flash and Flee, which is amazing that I got both of them. Because that means you could pivot out of those Earth types and go into something that counters them. Which is amazing, because those are the big things that counter Elephage right now. It's those pesky Earth types. And since it has 110 speed and 123 range attack, it makes those moves actually hit pretty hard, especially if it's super effective. Which just makes it so good right now. I love Elephage, and it's one of the most fun Loomians. Although, it's only number 3, because the top 2, it's basically the top 2. These top 2 are the best pivot Loomians in the game, and it took minor nitpicks to compare the 2. So yeah, Elephage at number 3. So, at number 2, it's actually gonna be Luminomi. Wait a second, Josh. Luminomi is not number 1? Well, I'll show you who number 1 is. But Luminomi, just like Elephage, it has Flash and Flee, but it has an ability to utilize Power Napper. When you swap out with Luminomi, you get health back from Power Napper. Which doesn't sound too OP until you realize how bulky Luminomi is. That was a Power Jaws Garlash, and it didn't even do half my health, which is just amazing. Comes back in later. Look at that. Does no damage. The Cosmere does nothing. And I think it's even set up, which is just amazing. Comes in later, goes back to 174 health. Like, that was 50 HP it got back from its ability. That's a lot, considering it is pivoting. And that's what makes Luminomi so good. It's probably the best pivot user in the game, except for number 1. I think number 1 is just a little bit more utilizable, and the reason why Luminomi is number 2. But even then, I would not be shocked if people put this number 1. Luminomi is amazing. So yeah, Luminomi at number 2. Let's see who number 1 is. So yeah, at the number 1 slot, the best pivot user in the game is your Snack. Now, I know it sounds odd to have your Snack at number 1, but it's Tank. Tank with Slapdown and Priority and Baffle. It has everything. It may not be the highest damage dealer, but it's the bulkiest Loomian on this list. Has an amazing ability, and while not having any recovery, it's so bulky it doesn't matter. If you run Health Amulet with your Snack, it is one of the most unstoppable things in the game. And I know what you're thinking. It's Quadreak the Spirit, Josh. It's Quadreak the Spirit. Just get a Spirit type on your team. Well, add its Eclipse. Problem solved. Just add any light type on your team or anything that resists Spirit, and boom, problem is solved. And your Snack can actually tank a couple super effective hits very well. I mean, Tank really makes it so good. Like, it completely destroyed that Tundraland. There's Hunder. Look at that. It did nothing because of Health Amulet. Your Snack is the best Baffle user in the game. It just completely dismantles everyone, and that's why I love it. And since it has Slapdown utility, that's what just barely pushes it to number 1 in my opinion. It's an amazing pivot user with great utility, and that is a great combo, and that's why your Snack's in the number 1 slot. So, yeah, that's your Snack. Sorry for all the Luminomi lovers out there, because yeah, your Snack completely RKO'd it. So, here it is, your Snack, the best pivot user in the game. And I know there are a bunch of other pivot users out there, like there's Ikazune, Luxor, Valkyrie, but I think these 5 are really good. And Elephage being number 3 is awesome. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this top 5 pivot Loomians. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!